with the knowledge gained from the previous module, we can now confidently move on to creating a basic t-shirt pattern. At this point, you will become acquainted for the portion of the 2D tools and the sewing tools. We will get to know the whole palette of tool throughout the course as well. But for now, let's focus on the basic to create patterns. Tools for making patterns are the polygon tool, rectangle tool and circle tool. We use these tools depending the shape we want. So for now, let's get the rectangle tool, and you see that I am able to create a rectangle in the 2D window by clicking on it. I can just go and drag to create a rectangle. So let's create a simple rectangle over the silhouette. Now, since we are creating a shirt, we are starting off by creating only the left part, which is actually the right part in the 3D window, and we could make a shirt and one pattern in the front, but then we will have very small chance of getting the two sides to be perfectly identical. So once I have this rectangle, I can just going to mirror copy the other one. So let's grab our transform pattern tool and go to Ctrl C and Ctrl R on our keyboard for creating a symmetrical copy. Since these are only two rectangles which will be obviously change some more, we want to change this to be same on both sides. That's we are going to select both of the rectangle, right click, symmetric pattern, and you will see that the pattern becomes outlined with bluish color, which probably looks familiar from sweater and splitted dress pattern we had a look at in the previous module. Now just looking at the two rectangles we have now, we see that something is not gonna work since there is no room for the arms and for her head to come through. So let's press X on your keyboard, and that way we select add point, and we can add points here at our rectangle, and we can simply click on it with our left mouse button, or we can go and click our right mouse button to get a dialog box. And here we have three different options on how to split the line. We can split it by length, or we can go uniform split just like that. We are going to be using the first option, split into two lines, and here we can input the amount, the length of the first line that we want. So let's go for 215. So this leaves a comfortable amount of room for the arm to come through, and hit OK. Next we are going to add point here, and this one is for neck. You can see while we have symmetrization on, we don't even have to worry about the other side because everything is done automatically for us. So this makes our work a lot easier. So my suggestion is, as soon as you mirror copy the other side, immediately apply symmetrization afterward. So let's grab our edit pattern tool and let's push this point down a bit. I am going to press shift while I do so to get this customized and push this a little bit down. Alright. Now it's starting to look more and more like end pattern that we want. So this is for the front side, and we are going to go ahead and continue with building the back side, and we are going to do that by simply taking our transform pattern tool, selecting both these patterns and copying it with Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I am going to place my back patterns to the right. Now that we have everything set up like this, we can continue with sewing these parts together, connecting them and of course simulating them. But first we need to position them in the 3D window around our avatar so they are able to simulate properly. Now the front pattern is okay the way it is, but the back pattern of course needs to be placed differently. So let's place it to the back of our avatar by using our gizmo. But as you can see, something strange is going on. You can see the patterns. One side of the pattern is grayish color and other side is white. This actually means that MD is differentiating between the front and back side, and of course the back side of the pattern always needs to be turned inwards, so working into the avatar. So if we placing our patterns in the back, you see that it reverse, and what we need to do is we need to select both of these patterns which we have already selected, right click and select flip horizontally. Now that we get the white side, which is the outside where it should be. If we skip this process, we could however process with the sewing, but the side would be reversed and making a lot more difficult to sew. So I encourage you to always do this. You can rotate these patterns with the use of the gizmo, but flipping them horizontally is just easier way to do that. Alright, with that said, let's continue with sewing. Now MD has two tools available for that: the segment sewing tool and free sewing tool, this one. Since we have only simple lines that we would like to connect, we will take the segment sewing tool. And while we know for sure is that we want to connect its front side together, and of course same for the back sides, and you see that as I do this, the seam lines are also visible in our 3D window. Now what I also would like to, I need to connect this front side, and while I click this area in the 3D window, you see that it's also indicated with the blue dot in the 2D window. So this side go to this side and it's also indicated. So let's just connect these two, and you see that the other side from this to this side, see they are connected now. Now all that is left for the shoulder part. Now be careful not to sew the room for the head and the arms. So this part, only this part is the blue dot here is going to this one, and let's just connect that. Now if I connect the seam line by clicking at the end of the line near the armhole, seam line is crossed in the middle. But if I move my mouse to the other side, it goes straight. So be careful while you sewing, and if I start sewing at this end of the line, then I need to do the same on the other pattern. So I will get straight sewing line. Okay, so I would advise you to be careful on that, and always kind of have a look at how the seam lines are going, if they are straight or if they are reverse. And so far everything looks good in the way everything is set up like this. We can begin by simulating, and we are going to do that by pressing spacebar on our keyboard, or you can just press this arrow right here. See, just pull this cloth. Let me do this. Okay, yeah, now it's fine. Stop simulating, and congratulations, we basically just simulate our first piece of cloth right from scratch. Now we are simulated it, we are now getting a better visual representation on how this pattern actually looks on the avatar. So now we can come into this pattern and select our edit pattern tool and edit it around a little bit. So this usually involves pushing lines up and down and making them shorter or longer and such. And I think this shirt is a bit long. Select the lines and put them a bit higher up. And as you can see, if I go to the constraint map, everything is all colored in red, which means that everything which extremely tight on her. So we have made the pattern too small and we are going to fix that immediately. So select edit pattern tool and select these lines and make the pattern little bit big. Same in the back pattern also. Now simulate it again and check it. See, there are some, you can see some green colors. Okay, the back side doesn't need this V shape. Select this point and you can push them up. The parts on the shoulder are looking a bit too rigid and I am going to fix that with my edit curvature tool. Select the edit curvature tool. I am going to curve a bit. Same with the back pattern. Select the edit pattern tool and in the front pattern select these points and make them like this. Same with the back patterns. Select the points and push them a bit down. Okay, simulate this. See, now it's look fine. Now I select the edit curvature tool and this V color, edit curvature tool, just make the color little bit round. Okay, again simulate this one. Alright, now I have also planned to add some sleeves and this is something we will do in the next clip.